All right, so what do you want exactly? First of all, you love the wiper and what it does on this front.
The wiper works fantastic for getting rid of the slush and stuff sprays on the window and in buildup of ice. This particular cat loader doesn't have a real stellar heating system until the cat is up to full operating temperature.
Okay.
Versus like the other loader in our trucks, basically warm 5 minutes after you start.
Sure.
So visibility, everything we do is done at night in the dark. We have LED lights on everything, so we have a lot of visibility, but when the snow's blowing within the beam of the LED lights and ice starts building up, especially when it's coming off the plows, you need to bust that ice off. And so
that's when you hit the PowerWiper.
you do. So if you look out here, there's no place to get out and stand and do this manually.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I mean, if I look at this, trying to get out here and just get to this, I mean, this is a workman's comp claim waiting to happen.
Well, we're doing it in the daylight when it's not slick.
Yeah, I mean, you're up there in the ice and the snow.
Yeah.
Well, I see exactly what your problem is. So the PowerWiper's working fine.
It is. So what I found I don't use is I don't use all the features and functions on it. So we'll turn the key on and let the system come alive.
There we go. We're live.
Well, we gotta wait for that thing to
Oh, that's
settle
right.
for a big world of racket. So
The system runs for you fine.
it does. But we typically run the wipers on a delay.
Okay.
Or you just turn them on and leave them on.
Right.
But typically they're on a delay, or when something throws up on your glass and you need to get rid of it. And so what ideally none of my guys use any of the settings. They always reach up and hit the manual.
They just push the manual to operate the reciprocation, to throw the ice off.
So if this thing is needed to save the wiper and the motors,
if it freezes only, yeah.
Ideally, if we had this, if you had a remote,
They could just Bluetooth the manual.
Bluetooth or a button.
Right.
Bluetooth. I don't love Bluetooth because everybody's got the radio's Bluetooth, and the phone's Bluetooth. That's a lot of Bluetooth.
I should qualify that by calling it wireless. It's not truly Bluetooth.
Okay.
It's a specific how we integrate what we call Bluetooth, right, is actually a wired system. It's on a very well known chip that's been used for years and years and years. It's very reliable.
One thing we got to remember that we take turns in the building, but we can only get 2 trucks and 1 loader in the building at a time. So most of this stuff's out in the cold. So something with a battery
could be a problem.
Never as reliable as something that's
I agree with that. All right. Well, let's see. So maybe just a remote button would be better.
A manual button that you could put on the joystick or someplace within the operator's reach on the plow trucks. I would actually put it on the wiper stick, because if you're reaching up to cycle the wipers, you could push the button and cycle them.
Well, let me see if I can't work out something special for you, and we'll give it a try. If you'd rather have wire, that's actually easier to do than the Bluetooth. I can just modify one of those controls and put a 5 or 6 foot 20 gauge lead or a 22 gauge lead on it. You can just wire tie it to the stick, or however you want to do it.
A lot of these joysticks have extra buttons in them, so like
you could even hook it up.
2 of our 3 plow trucks have a spare button on the joystick.
Okay, so you love the wiper. It works really well in the front loaders. It works really well on all your cat stuff. You'd rather have the control on the stick, or somewhere where you can move it around.
A manual button that we could put on, so we could just turn the thing on, and if you need it, you can just push the button.
However, if it was factory, if this came from Caterpillar, would you order it every time?
Oh yeah.
If it was on the stick and you could just order this PowerWiper and they sent it out to you and it was ready to go?
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Okay.
So in the construction side of things, because I did that for 20 years or better, is if you're on a spring or late fall construction site and you get splashed with mud.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
and they're great in heavy slush and snow and mud. Have you tried them in mud? Have you had them in slush? Have you had them in all the garbage conditions?
We actually had a concrete pump truck explode.
Really?
Covered our other loader. It broke the glass. It broke all 3 of the panels. But the wiper...
The wiper actually... All right, no, come on. Somebody's going to think I'm paying you to say something like that.
Well, it was wet concrete. It was
and you got it off of there, though.
The guy had the hose got unplugged and he was beating on it, and he goes...
Oh my gosh.
So actually, that container over there is all gray on one side because the loader was parked in
That's
that last truck. There.
funny.
And it was
You don't run them on your pickups. You haven't needed them on your pickups, just the heavy equipment?
well, no, and the reason we don't run them on the pickups is the simple fact that this thing's too
That
giant
controller.
to mount somewhere.
All right. Okay.
So if this could mount like under the seat,
How about under the hood?
or under the hood?
Because the Bluetooth mount under the hood, and all you've got is that little tiny. But what you said makes sense. You know, Bluetooth, batteries, ice cold.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Right.
So maybe what we should do is just make it so we can put that all under the hood, and just run a small little wire in off the manual, because it'll protect everything. It'll do what you want to
If
do.
you think about it,
Fairly simple modification.
so the bulk of us who drive cars, operate equipment, you know, everybody's done the whole reach out the window and try and grab the wiper and flip it one that comes back.
And it doesn't work.
And
Or you're going to drive off the freaking cliff or
for
something.
1 second. So this road is 16 miles long and it's 172 turns to get up here. So
Really?
you need to be watching, not be reaching out the side.
Okay.
But most of our fleet vehicles up and down the road have warning lights, two-way radios. So we already got a whole bunch of stuff mounted in the vehicle. So just out of dash space. They have extra lights on them.
You just want something small that you can hit manual when you want it.
Yeah.
I'll get that up to you in the next 2 weeks.
And so I would put them on probably
Everything.
most of our fleet vehicles that go up and down the hill.